Are there tears being wasted over a man who can't even send a text back? Is someone losing sleep? Replaying every message, every moment, trying to decode why he pulled away? Why he's cold now? Why he vanished after saying he wasn't like the others? And worst of all, are they blaming themselves? Because that's what happens when the heart wants what the heart wants. It creates excuses. It rewrites red flags into fairy tales. It turns breadcrumbs into a buffet. But here's the uncomfortable truth. A man not investing in you is making a statement. And no, it's not subtle. He's saying, you're not a priority. Still, too many people keep asking, why did he stop calling? Why did he change? Was it something I said? Wrong questions. The right question is, why was his bare minimum ever enough? Because at some point, they stopped holding standards and started holding on. There are people, smart, strong, stunning people, settling for the attention of men who wouldn't cross the street for them, let alone build a life. People investing everything, emotions, time, loyalty, into men who offer nothing but confusion, mixed signals, and moments that barely qualify as memories. And here's where the trap begins. One text, one call, one I miss you, and boom, they're right back on the hook. Back in a cycle where they give, he takes, and the outcome never changes. Let this sink in. Someone is crying over a man who wouldn't even flinch if she walked away. Someone is checking their phone every 5 minutes, and he's not even thinking about her once. But what if the real problem isn't him? What if the problem is what's being allowed? Here's the reality. A man doesn't need time to figure things out. He doesn't need more space, more chances, or more benefits of the doubt. He needs to show up. And if he's not, that is the message. It's time to stop turning confusion into commitment. To stop mistaking inconsistency for intimacy. To stop believing that if someone gives more, loves harder, waits longer, he'll finally choose her. Spoiler, he won't. Why? Because men don't fall in love with women who break themselves to be chosen. They fall for the ones who choose themselves first. Here's the warning sign. If someone always feels like they're convincing him to care, it's not love. It's emotional labor. If someone is drained, depleted, and still hoping, they're not in a relationship. They're in a negotiation with their own worth. Too many people believe if they hold on long enough, things will go back to the way they were in the beginning. The problem is, that version of him never truly existed. That was just the highlight reel. The real man is who he is when he stops trying. And when a man stops trying, the message is clear. He's not afraid of losing her. So the question becomes, why is she so afraid of losing him? The answer is tough. It's rarely about the man. It's about the fantasy. It's about the idea that maybe, with just a little more patience, a little more effort, he'll wake up and realize what he has. But what if he already does and just doesn't care? What if the real heartbreak isn't what he's doing, but what someone's accepting? Because that's what this video is about. It's not about men. It's about patterns. It's not about one bad date or one ghosted text. It's about a habit. The toxic habit of loving without being loved back. And it's killing confidence. It's eroding standards. It's making powerful, magnetic women forget their value. This ends now. By the time this video is done, there will be 2 choices. Change your standards, or change your man. Because it's time to confront the 5 harsh truths no one wants to admit, but everyone needs to hear. And here's the first brutal truth, just to set the tone. He's not busy. He's just not invested. He texts when he's bored. He shows up when it's easy. And the second someone starts asking for real effort, he ghosts. That's not love. That's laziness. So here's the challenge. Stop letting potential blind reality. Stop letting history justify disrespect. And most of all, stop loving men harder than they even like you. Because the truth is harsh, but it's also freeing. Ready? Let's go deeper. Let's talk about the 5 silent killers of a love life, and how to recognize them before they ruin another year. There's a moment, silent, subtle, and dangerous, when something shifts. Not in him, in the person accepting less. It starts when the red flags get romanticized. When he's just guarded replaces he's emotionally unavailable. When he's working on himself, becomes the excuse for why he never works on the relationship. This is where love gets weaponized. This is where 5 silent killers begin their work. Quietly destroying self-worth, poisoning judgment, and sabotaging the future. Let's break them down. 1. You're his option, not his priority. Here's the first truth that hurts the most. Men invest in what they value, period. That's not opinion, it's reality. If he wanted to call, he would. If he wanted to see her, he would. If he wanted to be with her, there would be no confusion about it. But when someone's an option, they'll feel it every single day. They'll hear it in the delay before a reply. They'll feel it in the way plans are always last minute. They'll see it in how he only shows up when it's convenient. Being someone's option means being treated like a placeholder, kept around, but never committed to. And here's the trick. He'll do just enough to keep her from leaving, but never enough to make her feel chosen. 2. Love isn't a charity. This is where the toxic habit begins. Giving in hopes of being loved back. Doing the emotional heavy lifting. Being understanding. Being available. Being loyal to a man who hasn't even earned basic consistency. Let this be clear. Love is not a rescue mission. Affection doesn't need to be proven through suffering. And being ride or die for someone who's not even present is not romantic. It's self-abandonment. There's a difference between kindness and self-sacrifice. And when love turns into a charity project, it's not love anymore, it's desperation in disguise. 3. Trauma bonds feel like love. Ever felt a rush from chaos? The butterflies from the unpredictable? The ache that somehow feels like passion? That's not chemistry, that's trauma bonding. When emotional instability is mistaken for intensity, it creates a toxic loop. He pulls away, she chases harder, he throws a crumb, she clings tighter. It's addictive, but that doesn't make it love. It makes it survival mode affection. Healthy love feels secure, stable, safe, steady. But for people used to pain, peace feels boring. And until that cycle is broken, there's a risk of mistaking anxiety for attraction. 4. You're addicted to potential. This one is the most seductive lie. He's not there yet. But maybe one day. That maybe becomes the trap. Suddenly someone's in love with a future that doesn't exist. They're holding out for a version of him that only lives in imagination. Here's the brutal reality. If he was going to change, he would have by now. Not for someone else, but for himself. Potential is a fantasy. Reality is behavior. Judge him by who he is today, not by who he might become someday. Because maybe one day isn't a plan. It's a stall tactic. 5. Your self-worth is leaking. Every excuse made for his behavior. Every time the bar gets lowered. Every time silence is tolerated, disrespect is rationalized. Or bare minimum effort is accepted. Something happens internally. Self-worth takes the hit. And over time, what once would have been a deal-breaker becomes normal. What once would have been unacceptable becomes maybe I'm just being too sensitive. That's how self-esteem erodes. Not all at once, but in tiny compromises. In the little lies told to protect a fragile hope. But here's the catch. The longer someone stays in the wrong story, the harder it becomes to remember they deserve better. Real story: Sarah's silent killer. Sarah was vibrant, smart, and loyal to a fault. She gave her heart to a man who always said someday. Someday he'd propose. Someday he'd be ready. Someday they'd build a life. So she waited. 2 years. She stayed through the emotional distance, the broken promises, the lack of real progress, believing maybe next year. He broke up with her one spring. Said he wasn't ready for anything serious. By fall, he was married. To someone else. 6 months. That's all it took, once he wanted to commit. Here's what hurt most. It wasn't just the heartbreak. It was the realization that he always had the ability to be that man. Just not for her. And that's when it clicks. It's not that he didn't believe in marriage. He just didn't see her as the one. That's the pain no one talks about. The pain of realizing he wasn't confused. He just didn't choose her. Truth check. Let this moment be a wake-up. Not a breakdown, a breakthrough. Because these 5 silent killers thrive in secrecy. They operate best when someone is too afraid to face the truth. But once they're exposed, they lose their power. And once someone starts seeing patterns clearly, they stop blaming themselves and start taking their power back. Because the goal isn't just to call him out, it's to call yourself up. To stop being the one who always overextends. To stop being the one who gives everything and gets nothing but confusion in return. This is the turning point. The excuses stop here. The second chances stop here. The he's just going through something stories stop here. Because love isn't meant to be begged for. It's meant to be mutual. If it's not being built together, it's not love. It's self-abandonment disguised as patience. And if this hit hard, good. It means something inside is finally waking up. Next, let's go deeper. It's not just about what is being tolerated. It's about why. The psychology behind accepting less is powerful. Let's break it down. By now the patterns are clear. The question shifts from, why is he like this, to something far more important. Why does this keep happening? Because most people aren't addicted to him. They're addicted to hope, to the chase, to the validation that comes when someone who keeps pulling away finally throws a crumb. That's not an accident. It's not random. It's psychological conditioning. Let's go beneath the surface. 1. The fix-him fantasy. Since childhood, many women have been trained, silently and subtly, to believe that love must be earned. The movies call it patience. The songs call it loyalty. But psychologically, it's emotional labor disguised as romance. This is the fix-him fantasy. The belief that if she just loves him enough, proves her worth enough, sticks around through his storms, he'll finally see her as the one. It sounds noble, but it's dangerous. Because this fantasy teaches, suffering is proof of love. The more broken he is, the more worthy she is for staying. The payoff will come after enough struggle. But here's the truth. Men do not fall for women who heal them. They fall for women they respect. And respect comes when a woman doesn't need to beg to be valued. Fixing him won't make him stay. It will only drain her until she forgets what love is supposed to feel like. 2. The breadcrumb effect. This is one of the most toxic emotional tactics, and it's rarely talked about. It's when he gives just enough attention to keep her from walking away, but never enough to make her feel secure. It's not an accident. It's control. One unexpected "I miss you" after weeks of silence. One random compliment that sparks hope again. One night where he's suddenly attentive, just before pulling back. This is breadcrumbing. It's psychological manipulation. And it works because the brain starts to associate inconsistency with reward. It becomes a slot machine. Every now and then, he gives just enough to keep her playing, even when she's losing. This unpredictability creates emotional addiction. It's the same tactic used in gambling, social media, and drug dependency. What should feel like clarity becomes confusion. What should feel like consistency becomes chaos. But here's the key truth. Someone who wants to keep you doesn't play with your mind. He removes doubt. He doesn't create it. 3. Attachment wounds and old scripts. This is where it gets personal, because most of this isn't just about him. It's about history. People often replay emotional blueprints from early life without realizing it. If someone grew up feeling unseen, unheard, unworthy of consistent love, they're more likely to normalize neglect. They confuse distance with desire. They chase emotionally unavailable men because that's what love used to feel like. It's not a choice. It's a pattern. The subconscious says, if I can just get him to love me, maybe I was never unlovable to begin with. This turns romantic relationships into emotional reparations, trying to fix the past by fixing a man. But the past can't be healed by choosing someone who wounds the same way. True healing begins the moment someone says, "This familiar pain? I refuse to feel it again." 4. Fear of being alone. Let's be brutally honest. Some people don't stay because they love him. They stay because the idea of starting over is terrifying. Loneliness can distort perception. It makes people see what they want, not what's real. The fear says, what if no one else wants me? What if this is as good as it gets? What if being alone hurts more? But here's the paradox. There's nothing lonelier than being with someone who makes you feel alone. The right partner doesn't silence insecurities. They soothe them. They don't make love feel like a performance. They make it feel like peace. Staying because of fear is a betrayal of the future. It trades potential happiness for guaranteed pain. 5. The maybe he'll change trap. This one keeps millions stuck. It's the belief that he just needs more time. He just needs to grow up. He just doesn't realize how lucky he is, yet. This is emotional procrastination, and it keeps people emotionally bankrupt, waiting on a man who's shown over and over that he's not gonna rise. Here's the truth. A man who wants you removes obstacles. He doesn't create more. He doesn't delay. He doesn't need time. He makes space for you in his life because he wants you there. The rest is noise. The second someone realizes this, the entire game changes. No more waiting. No more hoping. No more if only he... Because now, it's no longer about him at all. Reframe what healthy love actually feels like. Let's shift the frame for a moment. Love that's real feels stable, not chaotic. Consistent, not confusing. Empowering, not draining. Peaceful, not performative. It doesn't trigger anxiety. It doesn't feel like a guessing game. It doesn't demand that someone becomes smaller just to be kept around. It makes someone feel seen. Safe. Sure. Anything less than that? Not worth it. This is the wake-up. The real problem isn't that he's emotionally unavailable. It's that someone keeps choosing him anyway. And the moment that stops, everything shifts. When self-worth gets louder than the fear of losing him, he doesn't get access anymore. When boundaries get stronger than desperation, he can't manipulate anymore. When clarity takes over fantasy, he won't look attractive anymore. That's the shift. That's the power. Because healing doesn't come from hoping he changes. It comes from finally choosing to stop changing yourself for him. Ready to reset? Now comes the solution. The Queen's Reset. The 3 steps that shift the power back. Let's rebuild the standard. Let's rewrite the story. By now the fog is lifting. The truth isn't just landing, it's stinging. But pain with clarity? That's power. Because now comes the moment that matters most. The reset. Not a soft restart. Not a gentle maybe he'll get it this time. This is a rebuild. Of boundaries, of energy, of self-respect. This is the Queen's Reset. It's not about revenge. It's not about silence games or Instagram quotes. It's about shifting from powerless to powerful. From I hope he changes to he can't afford to lose me. Here's how to do it. Step by step. Step 1. The no more potential rule. From now on, reality speaks louder than fantasy. There is no more maybe he will. No more he's going through something. No more he just needs time. Judge him only by his current actions, not his words, not his promises, not his potential. Because potential is hope. Action is truth. Ask this. Is he consistent or is he convenient? Is he showing up or just checking in? Does his effort match yours or does it lean on it? And here's the new standard. If he's not investing, he's not included. There's no anger in that. There's no drama. There's just a quiet decision. Only full energy gets full access. No more giving benefits to a man who hasn't even passed the basics. He doesn't get the girlfriend treatment on situationship behavior. No more potential. Only presence. Step 2. The energy audit. This one hits deep. Look at the emotional math. How much is being given? How much is being received? If it looks like 80-20, 70-30, that's a loss. The energy audit means stepping back and observing who's doing the emotional labor, who plans the time together, who initiates the check-ins, who carries the weight of keeping it going. If the scale is tipped, stop topping him up. Love should never feel like a solo performance. And here's the uncomfortable shift. When someone stops doing all the work, many men disappear. Not because they're heartbroken, because the free ride ended. But here's what's beautiful about the audit. It reveals who's real. A man who cares will notice when the energy shifts. He'll step up, lean in, ask what's changed, and then change with it. A man who doesn't, he'll fade, flake, or flip it back on her. Let that be the test. Let that be the moment where someone finally says, I'm no longer feeding dead connections. Step 3. The 30-day test. This is the reset in action. 30 days. No overgiving. No overreaching. No over-explaining. Pull back all effort. Don't text first. Don't initiate plans. Don't remind him of what's been forgotten. Let the silence reveal his intentions. Let the distance expose his effort. Here's what this test does. It clears the fog. It removes the fantasy. It puts the spotlight on him and shows who he really is without the push. Because a man who wants you doesn't disappear when you stop chasing. He comes closer. A man who's only been there for convenience, he vanishes. And that's the gift. Because in 30 days, the truth will scream. If he steps up, great. Now he's meeting the standard. If he doesn't, it means he never intended to. And the best part? You didn't beg. You didn't chase. You didn't lose your dignity. You simply stopped giving access to someone who couldn't handle it. The power line. Here's the mantra. Write it, remember it, repeat it. A man's love isn't measured in words. It's measured in choices. Anyone can say the right thing. Only a real one shows it. The reset isn't a punishment. It's a mirror. It says, this is what my energy feels like. This is what you're losing access to. This is your moment to show up or fall off. And the right one? He won't let the silence last. Because a man who truly values a woman doesn't risk losing her. He adapts. He steps up. He chooses her, repeatedly. The reality after the reset. This is the shift that follows. You stop wondering if you're too much. You start realizing he was simply not enough. You stop fearing being alone. You start feeling the peace of not being mistreated. You stop chasing love. You start attracting it. Because men feel energy. And when a woman moves like she's whole, like she's not waiting for anyone to choose her, that's when everything changes. That's when new energy shows up. That's when old energy either levels up or gets left behind. Let them rise. Or let them go. Here's the bottom line. If someone wants to be chosen, they need to stop choosing people who leave them empty. The Queen's reset is the filter. It doesn't force. It reveals. And it sends one message loud and clear. You're welcome to step up, but you'll never be begged again. That's power. That's peace. That's the reset. Next, it's time to take this message viral. Because somewhere right now, another woman is losing herself for a man who won't even pick up the phone. Let's change that. Let's make this truth contagious. Let's start the momentum. Right now, somewhere out there, someone is crying on their bathroom floor, asking themselves what they did wrong, when all they did was love someone who never showed up. Someone is double texting a man who left her on red. Someone is replaying a conversation, wondering if they were too emotional, too intense, too much, when all they were was real. It has to stop. This isn't just about one person. This is a pattern, and it's spreading. People who are beautiful, brilliant, and born to lead are being dragged into emotional chaos by men who haven't earned a fraction of their energy. And it's not just hurting their hearts. It's killing their confidence. It's stealing their shine. It's making them forget just how powerful they are. So here's the movement. If any of this hit hard, if even one truth cracked through the denial, don't just sit with it. Speak on it. Drop it in the comments right now. Wake up. Say it loud. Say it bold. Say it for the version of yourself who stayed silent too long. Because the truth heals fastest when it's shared. The ripple effect. When one woman resets her standard, it gives silent permission for others to do the same. When one woman walks away from a half-love, she shows someone else how. That's how this spreads. So if you're watching this thinking, wow, I wish I heard this a year ago, that's the sign. Someone in your world needs it right now. Send this to her. To the one who's been stuck on a man who won't claim her. To the one whose glow is fading because she's giving too much and getting nothing back. Send it to someone who's too pretty to be this stressed over a man, because she might not listen the first time, but she'll remember who sent it. This is bigger than one man. This reset, it's not even about him anymore. It's about you. It's about everyone listening who's ever felt they had to earn love by shrinking, by tolerating, by staying longer than they should have. The reset says, I'm done confusing pain with passion. I'm done mistaking effort for love. I'm done fighting for someone who's not even in the ring with me. Because let's be clear, you are the prize. And if he can't see it, that's not your burden. That's his blind spot. But it's no longer your job to wait for him to open his eyes. It's your job to move. The new standard starts now. If this video gave even 1 ounce of clarity, don't let it fade. Write it down. Repeat it daily. Live it fully. If he's not consistent, he's not serious. If he's not investing, he's not for you. If he's not ready, then he's not right. And the new rule? I don't chase, I choose. I don't beg, I become. Because the more you become, the more aligned he has to be to even stand a chance. Challenge. Take the 30-day reset. Out loud. Start the Queen's reset today. Drop a comment if you're in, then commit. Not in silence, out loud. Text your friend group. I'm doing the 30-day reset. No chasing. No begging. No topping up. Then do the audit. Let the imbalance show itself. Let the distance reveal the truth. This is how the glow-up starts. Not with makeup, not with selfies, with standards, with silence, with self-respect so loud it makes weak men uncomfortable. Let this video be the line in the sand, because enough is enough. No more almosts, no more half-effort men with full access. No more being the therapist, the mother, the backbone, for someone who can't even be consistent. The moment is now. The message is clear. You are not hard to love. You've just been loving people who don't know how to hold what you bring. But now you do. Now you know. So go live it. Go choose yourself, fully, loudly, and unapologetically. And when the old energy comes crawling back, and it will, don't entertain it. Smile, close the door, and say this out loud. You had access to me. You misused it. There won't be another chance. Because the version of you who tolerated that, she doesn't live here anymore. Now go, drop your wake up below. Send this to the woman who needs it. And remind the world, a queen never begs. She resets and rises.